Welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. Yesterday, we just filed a federal civil rights lawsuit based on this body cam footage that comes to us from Brooke County, West Virginia.
But they have 3 German Shepherds. They're very aggressive. If she didn't have treats in her hand, I think the dog would have ate her, honestly.
Mark them. Wendell, are you Wendell?
Yep. My dog got out, it ran around the fence, and it came right back in. Didn't hurt anybody, didn't hurt anything. I talked to the dog catcher, so what's the problem? My dogs are licensed, they're kept in every day. Every time these motherfuckers call you guys, you get 4 cars come out here. Every time I need someone here, you never show up. So listen, am I going under arrest? If I am, let's go. If I'm not, then leave me the fuck alone. Because I didn't break no law.
Talking like that, you're going to go to jail.
I can talk however I want.
No, you can't.
It's called freedom of speech.
No, you cuss again. It's disorderly conduct.
Then leave me. Get off the property.
No,
we have no reason to be here.
No, we are here to address a complaint.
You know, you're addressing their complaint.
I'll talk to you. The dogs are harmless. They are. They love kids, and those kids get on their backs and ride. Those dogs.
Listen, the motherfucker said he's going to.
You're under arrest. Disorderly conduct.
No, property.
Get out.
No.
Get out now. You're going to get tased. I'm telling you right now. I don't give a shit. We told him to stop cussing. And he's under arrest for disorderly conduct.
We got to loosen this up.
No, we're not doing nothing. That's not an excuse to cuss. Cussing, advising to stop, it's disorderly conduct. Let's go. We're leaving. We're done dealing with all this shit.
As you may have already guessed, this case involves police officers responding to a 911 call in reference to this guy's 2 dogs escaping out of his yard and allegedly chasing this woman's niece. And they were so vicious that they had to be fought off with some sort of dog cookies. This brings up constitutional issues involving 1, First Amendment freedom of speech. Can you use profanity? Can you use obscenities in your interactions with law enforcement? Is there a First Amendment right to do that? And secondly, can the police just come onto your property within the curtilage of your residence, in your driveway, in your yard, and can they perform a warrantless arrest of you there? Can they refuse to leave? Take a look at this footage and then I will answer those questions.
Hello.
Where that block garage is right there, right next to this. The blue garbage cans. Yeah, the blue garbage cans.
Okay.
There's nobody. I don't know if anybody lives in the house anymore or not. I know they had moved out and moved in with her mother up the street, but they have 3 German Shepherds, and 2 of them jumped the fence today and came after my niece. They're very aggressive. If she didn't have treats in her hand, I think the dog would have ate her, honestly. So I screamed for my husband to get his weapon, and because they were coming over into our yard.
What are you doing?
And it ended up eventually going out the end of the road. But the kids can't even, that's my sister that lives there in the brick house.
Okay.
And we can't even let my kids walk over there because we're afraid that the dogs, they just like so aggressive at the gate when they're outside that you can't even, you have to go with them. They can't even play in this yard right here because of that reason, and that's exactly what happened. I was standing right up here and they jumped that corner. I would have never got to them, never got to them. And I'm telling you, I really don't want them to have to see something horrible like that, but that's the only way that it's going to stop them.
So are the dogs in the house or in the building?
He come outside, and my husband said they come after one of the kids, and he said, I try to keep them locked up. They've been called numerous times before because they were killing my son's chickens. Chill. That's my son. We all live, we're all family in this.
From the dog ward.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. Second house down there on the right. Mark them. Wendell, are you Wendell?
Yep. My dog got out, it ran around the fence, and it came right back in. Didn't hurt anybody, didn't hurt anything. I talked to the dog catcher, so what's the problem? My dogs are licensed, they're kept in every day. The only reason they got out today is because I was home.
They're getting out, that's what
They're not getting out, they just got out today.
No, they
Okay,
don't
what did they do? What did they do wrong? Tell me.
they ran
Do I
around.
have a fine to pay?
Mr. Markham.
No, do I have a fine? Am I under arrest?
We're trying to address the complaint.
Well, no,
with you.
because every time these motherfuckers call you guys, you get 4 cars come out here. Every time I need someone here,
that's how we
you
roll.
never show up. So listen, am I going under arrest? If I am, let's go. If I'm not, then leave me the fuck alone. Because I didn't break no
Talking
law.
like that, you're gonna go to jail.
I can talk however I want.
No, you can't.
It's
You
called
cuss.
freedom of speech.
No, you cuss again. It's disorderly conduct.
Then leave me. Get off the property.
No,
we have no
we are
reason
here
to be here.
No, we are here to address a complaint.
You know, you're addressing their complaint.
I'll
No.
talk to them. Okay. The dogs are harmless. They are. They love kids. We have kids. We got 2 3-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Kids every day.
They would never hit it. Never.
3-year-old and a
And a
4-year-old.
4-year-old. And those kids get on their backs and ride. Those
And
dogs
listen, the
would.
motherfucker said he's going to
You're under arrest. Disorderly conduct.
do that all
No, no,
private
no, no.
property.
Get out now.
No.
Get out now. You're going to get tased. I'm telling you right now. Get out now.
out.
Get out. No. He's under arrest. Get out. I don't give a shit.
You will.
Get out now.
Leave him
We're not
alone.
playing games.
I don't want to fight.
Put your hands behind your back.
Hey.
You want to resist arrest?
I'm not resisting. Get a picture. Get a look. They're trying to trip me up. Get a picture. Get a picture.
Why are you resisting? Stop resisting. Behind your back. Tase him again. I'm going to tase him again. You got this. You got this on video. Because he's resisting arrest, ma'am. It's all on video. We told him to stop cussing, and he's under arrest for disorderly conduct. Give me the other hand, and you're going to get it again. They're breaking my neck. I can't hardly breathe now. I can't breathe. They're not allowed to have their neck on my neck. They're not on your neck. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh, yeah, you can't breathe. Get the fuck. You can breathe.
Now I can talk and breathe.
Hold on my shoe.
He's going to the regional jail. He ain't going nowhere.
Put my shoulders up. Now come on.
Hey, Brooklyn, 1015, taser deployed.
10-4, you're 10-15, taser deployed, 1943.
Hey, 34, 10 back.
We got to loosen this up.
No, we're not doing nothing.
10-4. Now I'm going to be driving the lead.
We're good?
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Don't have everything. Did you lose anything?
Left 2 seconds ago.
Did you lose anything? You just drive standing, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I talk for a second? Listen, I'm 77 years old. You guys put your hands on me.
Well,
Listen to me.
he resisted
No,
arrest.
I understand. Listen.
I'm coming down right now.
Listen, and these dogs here, they're rescued. All these dogs
That's
are
fine.
rescue dogs. You know?
That's fine.
But I'm 77 years old. I don't need this. I know what he did. I saw, you know, I understand that. But don't take another two.
It's,
Please.
we can't, we have to.
Why?
Because we told him to stop.
I know, but he will stop.
Yeah, he's going to stop now
He's
because
got
he's in
issues
jail.
because he's bipolar and stuff. He's
That's not an excuse to
always had
cuss.
issues. I know.
and
And I
scream.
tell him, I know.
And then he resisted arrest. And that's the
He tried to fight
problem.
us.
I know.
That's why he got tased, because he was trying to fight us.
So would you let him
Do you
sit
own
down?
the... No, I can't.
Can you change your mind?
We can't. Once we place
Can
him
you
under...
do that?
No, we can't.
You didn't place him under arrest. You
Yes, we
can
did.
reject that. You didn't
No.
write no
Hey,
citations.
34, back out.
He's under arrest.
I'm gonna call the chief.
10-4.
Okay.
So what happened?
Complaint that German Shepherds are jumping the fence.
Yes, there's 2 German Shepherds.
Right.
I seen them there. Well,
So we were coming here to address the complaint. Cussing, advising to stop, it's disorderly conduct.
Why is he there?
I'm trying to tell you that.
Is he arrested?
Yes.
Okay. Let me call the lawyer.
Go right ahead. Do you want to hear the rest of the story or no?
I don't give a shit.
Look, have a good day.
523.
Let's go. We're leaving. We're done dealing with all this shit. Let's go.
So yeah, ironically, you just watched the video of my client being arrested for cursing while standing on his own property. And the last thing that this same police officer says when he leaves the scene is to also utter a curse word.
I don't give a shit. We're done dealing with all this shit.
Now, again, this was Brooke County, West Virginia. This involved deputies with the Brooke County Sheriff's Department. One, defendant Niall Klein, and the other one, defendant Shane Logston. Yesterday, they both were sued in federal court for constitutional violations that appear in this video. My client is named Wendell Markham. He was standing within the curtilage of his own property. Police officers approached him without any sort of warrant. I've explained this before in other videos, but police officers have the same right that a Girl Scout does selling cookies to approach your home, and that would be under what's called the knock and talk exception. And this is just an implicit license, again, like a Girl Scout would have, to enter onto somebody's property. That only extends until such time as that license is revoked, i.e. the homeowner asks that they leave. So in this case, you saw that Wendell Markham, he indeed did ask the police officers to leave his property.
No, you can't.
It's called freedom of speech.
No, you cuss again, it's disorderly conduct.
Then leave me. Get off the property.
No, we are here to address a complaint.
You know,
They were clearly standing within the curtilage of his property. They're standing down a long driveway.
Markham.
And at times, Wendell was even standing within a fenced front yard.
This
and
dog's
listen, the motherfucker said he's going to
You're under arrest.
He asked them to leave. They did not leave. Instead, they performed an arrest of him for cursing while standing in his own front yard. Before we even get to the issue of whether he had a First Amendment right to do that, they were where they were not allowed to be. They were illegally on his property. The law is very, very well settled, both at the U.S. Supreme Court level and at the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals level, that police officers need a warrant to perform a warrantless arrest of a man standing on the curtilage of his own home, absent some sort of exigent circumstances, i.e. an emergency, which did not occur here. You'll notice that there was no ongoing situation with the dogs. There was no immediate safety threat. There was no child being attacked by a dog or anything like that. So the only way that the officers, assuming such an arrest could be legal, they would have had to maybe one officer stay behind, the other go and try to get an arrest warrant. They would have needed an arrest warrant to arrest somebody inside their own home or within the curtilage of their home, which, according to the Supreme Court, is the same thing. Secondly, when you look at West Virginia law, so they arrested this guy for disorderly conduct because these officers believed, apparently, that you can't curse or else they get to arrest you for disorderly conduct. Fortunately for them, however, West Virginia law actually requires that that be in a public place, not on private property, certainly not within the curtilage of one's home. So not only was this not in a public place, but they were also missing one other requirement, and that is that as interpreted by the West Virginia Supreme Court, the statute requires that this cursing take place in the presence of some other person, and that means not law enforcement themselves. So law enforcement can't just hear somebody cursing in West Virginia and then say, oh, I'm offended, that's disorderly conduct, I'm arresting you. No, there has to be some other third party there who hears the obscenity and is actually offended. Moreover, the law is very well settled that citizens, we all have the right to use obscenities, to use profanity, to express our frustrations, to express our criticism to law enforcement during interactions. This has been very well settled at the U.S. Supreme Court and probably every circuit. So we filed a federal civil rights lawsuit yesterday and addressing all of these constitutional violations. There were multiple Fourth Amendment violations and also First Amendment violations. The officers admitted that this guy is being arrested because he used curse words.
Cussing, advised him to stop. It's disorderly conduct.
Why is
Well, he had a First Amendment right to use those curse words. And in retaliation for that, they grabbed him, they used violence on him, they tased him, and they ultimately arrested him. Now, I'll note that subsequently, all the criminal charges were dismissed with prejudice because they were completely bogus. So we have sued for a violation of the Fourth Amendment for him being detained illegally on his own property, for him being falsely arrested on his own property, and also for him being maliciously prosecuted after the fact, because not only did they put him in handcuffs and then arrest him, but then they continued the prosecution. They put through the paperwork to file formal charges, and he was forced to retain a lawyer, defend against those, and he did successfully. So multiple Fourth Amendment violations. I believe there's 3 counts of Fourth Amendment violations under Section 1983. Oh, and I almost forgot, also under the Fourth Amendment, the use of excessive force. This man, not only was he in the process of being illegally arrested, he posed no immediate safety threat to anybody. And that is the most important of the Graham factors when the courts evaluate whether or not officers use an excessive amount of force. There's a pretty good case law here in the Fourth Circuit that says that when police officers use tasers, I mean, that is a substantial, violent amount of force that is designed to inflict pain. So it has to be used where that level of force is necessary. And if you watch the video, it was completely unnecessary here, which is corroborated by the fact that he wasn't even accused, I'm talking about Mr. Markham, of attempting to assault or attack the officers in any way. The Fourth Circuit has been clear that just even assuming this happens, that there's some sort of minimal physical resistance to the officer's attempts to manipulate the body, that is not sufficient to justify the use of a taser. And that's very well established here in the Fourth Circuit and elsewhere. It appears to have been used by the officers here just to make it easier for them to handcuff somebody. And that's exactly what they're not allowed to do, or just to retaliate against somebody or to punish them. And then we also have 2 other claims. One is First Amendment retaliation. I've already explained that. And lastly, we've also asserted a Monell claim against the employer here, against the county, because it's very clear that these officers are really deficient in their training and supervision, and they don't understand basic constitutional law. At least one of these officers, Niall Klein, we believe has a history of constitutional violations that the employer was aware of and took no action to resolve. And then you had my client, Wendell Markham, who was victimized, as you see in this video. This is one I really look forward to litigating, along with a local attorney up there, Alex Rizovich, who defended successfully the criminal case and is on board with me to litigate the civil case. So follow along both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com, because this will be an interesting one. And as always, thanks for watching. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it.